Hello everybody, welcome to my weird and wonderful world. And this video is going to be a little bit different. A while back I have stated that I had written these book of poems. I have it I have it saved on here. I also have it on my computer right now so I can show you. And so basically, let's see if I can't get this going up properly. Okay. I want to make sure that you're seeing everything. Okay. Those are those are my books of poems. I have it in two different forms, as you can see here. Uh, so you can see it's I have it in Microsoft Edge PDF document, and then I have the rich text document. So I have it in those two forms, and I'm only going to show you book one. I'm not going to show you book two. Um, I don't know about publishing them or not. I would like to publish them and have like adjoining artwork to go with it. Okay. Now, I want to give a little bit of explanation about it here. I'm going to show you it a little bit, how the chapters are all set up, the meaning of the book. Now, I don't want to really explain too much about the meaning or anything of any of the poems. I would love the meaning to be interpreted by the reader rather than me trying. I'm not, you know, these were written in between 2000 and I would say between 2006 to 2009. Within those few years there, and that was mostly written when I was living at the Salvation Army Booth Center on the up in Montreal. It's it's a men's shelter up in Montreal. Montreal's a I've told stories about my Montreal adventures. You can always go back into my playlist and check those out for sure. I have spoke about those adventures, just some cool adventures. If you haven't checked those out yet, I had some really interesting and cool adventures in Montreal that I know you guys would be interested in. But I want to show you my poems. I don't want to really make this long at all. But you know me. uh, if it's 20 minutes, it's fine. But I'm not gonna try to drag this on too much. Let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Let's go back to the poems themselves. Boom. And so as you see here, it says Moe's Poems, Book One. My intro on poem. Now, I wanted to write my own intro, but I was reading this book called Gestalt Therapy, right? And this is the excerpts from that book that I was reading. And it was the chapter was called Verbalizing and Poetry. And those are the page numbers that I've taken it from. And you guys can I'm not going to read this out to you. You guys if you're interested, you can pause and check it out, but all those liner notes here, like this introduction, and then here's my introduction. And what I did was just examine certain words. Okay, I started writing down these list of words that have more meaning than just everyday basic words. You don't see words like the and of and but these are more words of meaning. I put this as a optional introduction, and you see that number here at the end that says 52 13. That's just to show you how many words are under that, like how many words were under A, how many words are under B, how many words are under C. you know Care, you'll find meaning of care in other words of similar. So the words that didn't have meaning within other words, okay, that they only had meaning in and of themselves, they were eliminated. Every one of these words have meaning in other words, so that's why they're all in here. This took like months of just you know reading dictionaries and thesauruses and all kinds of a book about words and stuff. So I did some studying on it a little bit. I like to see, look, for K, like just here for J and K. jealousy, judgment, junction, and justice. 4 words. And then you get K, which has, killing and knowledge. You know, there's so many other K words that, you could have chosen, but that should just give you an idea right there of the importance and the meaning of words of meaning and an optional introduction. Okay, continue. So you see, Q, qualification and quantity. Um, uh, for V, there's 14, and like Y only has one, youth. And altogether, all the words together is only those 629 words altogether. So they're in movements. Okay, here's the first movement, and I haven't looked at this in a little while. But I think there's 13 poems every movement. I think there's 7 movements altogether. Well, we'll just go as we go along. So as I was going along, this is the very first movement, the very first poem, and naturally it's called Being. I am here now. I am somehow in the race now, and is done out. I do love you. I do hate too, and is from you. One is true too. I do. And then two, presence of being. Now I'm not going to go through everything with a fine tooth comb. You can pause this if you want and check it out on your own. I'm going slow enough. But yeah, I wrote poems. I wrote these whole poems. And even though if they're not necessarily, they're in different forms, and each one represents a certain idea that I was having at a time. And I was thinking about the construction. I mean, you have the first one called Being, and then the presence of being, and then you got egoless there, and it kind of paints a certain narrative as I'm going along. It's not necessarily chronological in any sense or form. It's all like just certain ideas I was having, and I was looking for a way of constructing. Everything was getting changed around constantly and until I could figure out a solid form. Once I have it solid, then I would, and you get the idea here. For freedom is poem number 4, but it's for freedom, play on words. And then it's just words that all start with un, as many un but that represent freedom, like uncaught, unconstrained, unconfined, unrestrained, unchecked, unconditional freedom. um, Light of the World. Okay, and this was inspired by a book called A Course in Miracles, and that's where the ACIM comes in. Just this one here, all these lines can be found within that book, and I just combined them and made a poem out of those texts. So this one here is not completely my words, but they're words that inspired me, and I felt compelled to write down, well, to type down. And everything here is all structured to be in a very, so when you get to number 6, lamb like, to do a world of good, we need to stand the test. No need to hit the nail on the head. Be the making of for the best. No need to believe or to be read. Cross the heart and hope to die. Is it the accuracy and fidelity we are worthy and deserving of eternity? And with the truth we will improve. It is the honest to goodness in the move to finding. It's yeah. So I'm not dwelling too much. What stands between? So yeah, there's seven movements, which are the chapters, and there's 13 poems each one. So what stands between? Yeah, and then the redeem, number 8. So yeah, really, you have to say it like really, like really. And um, 10, a man of his word, with a little, with the underlining, all, intentional, 100% intentional, because it is, it is. Okay, 11, perfect. Then 12, point blank. Yeah, because that shouldn't be here. That should be actually on the next page to introduce the. I really still would like to edit it more so that it actually everything lines up properly so that the meaning is even more clear, But yeah, magical with a J, and then second movement. Yeah, second movement. So part one of the first poem is called Love Babbles. And yeah, I like this one because it's just a string of words that all like they're really as fancy for love as possible. Again, ripping apart a thesaurus to really dive into to trying to get as much intention as possible of sweetie it's kind of hard to say. I know even today writing it is one thing, but trying to say it, sweetie innamorata, favor and fancy, adore, desire, love to distraction, honey, wooer, enrapture, tenderness, shine up to endear, tender love smitten. I'm not going to bore you with that. You can read that on your own. Yeah. This one I really like, and some of these, okay, a few of these were actually put into music that I constructed on my computer way at the same around the same time. So this was constructed into a song by me, and it was and was I think I did the voice for that, but just pitched lower. So, yeah, the Song of the Goof, which again, this was in 2000, in 2006, 2007 when I started writing these, okay? And how this still today, there's a few people that really encapsulate this, okay? The Song of the Goof. Dancing and singing without rhyme and reason, mocking and scoffing just to be a derision, to give a bad time on someone else's dime with their extravagant lines to kill their own time. It is an irony that they cannot see its unmeaning, unfeeling buffoonery. To play the fool, the object of ridicule, its nonsense, a farce fest, a travesty. Snigger and snigger to rag at the twit, illogical twaddle to which they commit, to give a bad time on someone else's dime, to double talk of empty talk to kill their own mind, is absurdity that they cannot see, it's ridiculous, ludicrous buffoonery, to play the tool, the object of ridicule, is nonsense, a farce fest, a travesty. Okay, let's continue. I'm not going to go through every poem. Because I still want to know what you think. In future videos, I might reveal more. But yeah, these were just little things here and there that I was going that I had to write down. So yeah, that was yeah, number 5 authority. I want to make sure everything is clear on this on there so you can read it at your leisure. The secret silence of symbolism. Um, the corporate mafia mentality. Mhm. And my friend at the time, who was my sounding board, who I would like when I would have some new poems like written up and that I would bounce it back and forth to him to get his reaction. And he kind of called it time capsule poetry. And at the time, I understood what he meant. You know, opinionation. I kind of know what he meant, but I still see so much of it. And yeah, I can look back and I see the feelings I've had when I was writing them, but I find they're all pretty poignant. I don't know. I think there was a bit of jealousy too, with like that I was coming up with these books of poems that and each one is meaningful. Like it really, it really is. And I don't know. I don't think he understood. Like I thought he was thinking that I was just constructing sentences for the but he didn't really get that there was actual meaning. I was in Montreal. I was having some fun. I was being really introspective, not introverted, but really introspective in those times. Reading books about poetry and meditation and gestalt therapies and all that kind of stuff. So I was really 12. Of course, it had to be 12 with the worker bee blues, with the whole, you know, that dozen of 12. And then, of course, the last chapter, 13, which, of course, the 33 of taxiternity. Now, I know when at the time when I wrote that down, I forgotten what that meant. I forget what that means, nowadays because but I know that it really represented what the lines were saying, and with the 33, being this it leans into the whole conspiracy theory type of thing. Although I'm not necessarily believing into it, I find that stuff with David Icke and all that stuff really interesting. So that kind of showed up in my poems. So we're going to go. I'm just going to go show you the third movement. I'm not going to show you all the rest of it. So the third movement, the first poem is Zero. See, each movement, it's in itself it's it's separate from the other movements before it. They're not really meant to be compared to each other, and 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 define the thread that weaves within each poem of the movement from 1 to 13. There is a certain significance to these particular poems being within that particular movement. I did a lot of thinking about it. The amount of thought that went into these poems. I also don't think my friend at the time was appreciating that. I think he thought that I was just doing it willy nilly. But look at these words. Really look at these words, and I even use yeah. And you tell me the onus is on us, to for our duty. That one I know that word. I hear that word being used by First Amendment auditors, saying that for that there's no expectation of privacy in public. That if you want to protect your of a certain organization, if you're in public and whatever you can see in public, you can see that if you want to protect private information, the onus is on them to protect that. It's not on the public because we're allowed to see what we're allowed to see in public view. So, but it still significantly, represents the way I was feeling about certain things at the time. You know, so why would my friend call it time capsule poetry? No, it's just poem. It's poetry, 100%. Now, I want to I want to publish this. I really do would like to publish this. And see here, Sally Ann, okay? Sally Ann, because I was living at the Salvation Army, and that's what number is for number 5. Now watch what I did, and watch what I did for the next one for for poem number 7, okay? It's interesting, and it was constructed that way on purpose. Um, so more of that, and then chapter 6, I put 666 blood and fire, and it's in red font, And look, it's in the form of a drop, like a teardrop or a blood drop or whatever. And I think it's cool. I think it's cool. It makes a statement. Come on, you can't. It's still my expression. It's still expression. I was a little offended. I was a little offended when he called it time capsule poetry because it's more than that. It's for me, it's more than that. Then poem number seven. Again, that seven should be down here, but it's center. And again, and then number eight is version, and then you get nine ornament. um, and then 10 deep girl, then imposed conceit. Yeah. Number 12, precarious. So I hope that you guys can see that. And then, yeah, number 13, contactless glory. I don't want to spoil any more, so contactless glory. See, again, that title should be on this page. It shouldn't be. I really want to correct that. But that's only the first book of poems, and that's only not even, there's still, oh yeah, it goes on for almost a whole page here, and then a little bit more on that page, and then we got the fourth movement. And I don't want to spoil much more than that. But yeah, you see, there's seven movements each book, and there's 13 poems every. So yeah, so that's about almost yeah, it's almost halfway. So by the time you get into the middle of of the fourth movement, which be the right in the middle of everything. Yeah, uh, that I just wanted to show you that just to give you a little taste of the kind of stuff that I can do, and that was a meaningful. And even today, I feel like sometimes I want to write down so much of my thoughts and make poems out of it. I really like, again, I enjoy creating. If I wasn't working at my day job, all the way that I do and the way I am, and if I had more time and energy on my hands, I would love to get back into the creative. I want to be creating. I want to be creating. I want to be drawing all the time. I want to be making music all the time. That's I need to be in an environment where I can be creative and just go and not have to worry about other stuff as much. If only life was different, eh? And sometimes we make of it what we can, but I thought you guys would get a kick and interest in seeing a little bit of a different side of me, and of how I see the world a little bit. And if you, so what do you think? You think I should show you guys more and just, whatever, not worry about copyright and stuff? It's mine, and you're seeing it here for the first time. Only a few people have seen that, have actually seen these before in its entirety, and you're only seeing a small portion of it. But I really should try to find a way to publish it, but this is a taste of it here. So anybody has any information on how I could publish this or what I could do to make this, you know, maybe because I could use it to help me fund my YouTube channel for sure. The profit I would make from this, it would be 100% just all the proceeds. If I ever do make a book, and I have it in mind how big the book should be and everything, and how all the poems should be presented. Pretty much the way you see it here. I don't know if that's the font that I want to use because it's pretty standard font. But yeah, yeah, I would love to proceed further with it and make something concrete and actually make a book out of it. All right, I am done for now. So yep, that's it for me for a moment. So yeah. All right. I'm just gonna let you go. You know I love you. I just had to do something like this. Oh wow, 25 minutes. I wasn't expecting to go as long. Again, me, I can't make short. There's a lot of content there I want to kind of share with you. You know, at least the first three chapters. It would have taken all day to go through everything. So, all right. If you haven't subscribed to me yet, don't subscribe to me just yet. Go look at some old playlists, find out if I'm a good channel for you, and then if you're satisfied, I want you to be satisfied. You know, so if you're satisfied with my channel, then subscribe, but only then. Just go watch some other videos first. And okay, but do please leave a like, you know, because don't be afraid of that. I love that. Leave me comments. I do my best to get to people's comments, but at least if I give you a channel like and a thumbs up, you know I really appreciate your comment because I love hearing from you. And all right, everybody, please be safe. Have a take care. Be safe. I'll see you on the flip side and have a great day, evening, morning, night, afternoon, wherever you may be. I just got a little, sidetracked a little bit in my thoughts. But peace, everybody. I love you all. Have a great night and day.